Right, we're taking our attention across the pond to New York now. The first of 4 criminal trials involving Donald Trump is taking place starting today.
OK, the former president, he faces charges related to what is termed hush money made to adult film star Stormy Daniels. This was in 2016. The case marks the first criminal trial of a US ex-president as he continues his campaign to be Republican nominee for president. Joining us now, former Nevada Republican Party Chairwoman Amy Tarkanian. Amy, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Amy, you used to be a big Trump supporter. Why are you no longer?
This is true, and it's very depressing, quite honestly, that he is our nominee after a string of indictments have followed President Trump. And also the fact, I think the final straw for me was the January 6th event where he basically sat by and watched for several hours while his followers, his devoted followers, basically stormed the Capitol and caused destruction. And so I think that he continues to surround himself with grifters. He's made some very poor decisions, and it doesn't seem that he has learned from his mistakes.
Amy, he's fought hard to try and push this trial as far down the road as possible. Originally, I think it was tabled to start around Super Tuesday. He managed to move that on. Who knows if that might have had different impacts for him on Super Tuesday when he was really, really successful. But he's facing 34 felony counts of falsifying business records, all linked to this one hush payment story with Stormy Daniels. Just explain to us how this has led to all these falsifying accounts allegations, and how conservative Americans like yourself will feel seeing a former president facing such salacious charges.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Well, I think more reasonable, rational Republicans are pretty upset, once again, that he is our nominee. And those who are considered Trump purists have pretty much put all of this into the category of political persecution, no matter how bad it may be. And so I think that this criminal case is going to be quite an eye-opener. And even though it's listed as a Class E felony, which means it's the lowest level possible for New York state law, he could still see anywhere from probation up to 4 years in prison. However, I don't actually see that happening, since this would be his first run with the law, so to speak. But you have somebody Michael Cohen, who used to work for President Trump, actually obtained a line of credit on his home before the election to pay this alleged non-disclosure hush money, $130,000 to Stormy Daniels. Actually, when this came out, it was also around the same time as the Access Hollywood tapes were released, where he was viewed as saying some pretty repulsive comments about how he would handle women. And so he didn't want to be viewed as somebody who was extremely inappropriate leading right up to the election. And so that's why they're allegedly saying this took place at that time. Now, there's also 2 others that he's also having to deal with. There's a doorman that was paid $30,000 allegedly for claiming that Trump had a child out of wedlock. And then there's a former Playboy model, Karen Dougal, who was also paid $150,000 to remain quiet. So the problem here is that Michael Cohen is saying that he has a recorded conversation with the former president discussing the hush money. And then also the fact that how I just mentioned, he obtained a line of credit on his home. So that's a hard copy of evidence. And then we'll see, too, the fact that they're saying that there were phony invoices made, claiming that they were legal fees, and that they were actually recorded in his ledger.
Amy, however ghastly all of this sounds, I put it to you. I use the word ghastly. If this was a British politician, career over, right? We wouldn't even, that would be the end of that. Are you overly shocked by this? Are you outraged by this? Does this turn you off Trump completely? I mean, if you're a neutral voter at this stage, because he's in court so often on so many things, I think it just goes over people's heads now.
Sure, you almost have become desensitized as an American voter, which is also not okay because these are some serious allegations. And so if you're talking about a former president who, as we all know, there are very powerful people who have NDAs signed all the time and most likely probably do pay people off to remain quiet when they're being inappropriate. But this is a situation where we're talking about documents, fake documents that were put as far as putting into the accounting records of the former president's business. And so then we also have Trump's checks reimbursing Michael Cohen right after the election. So this stinks to high heaven. And for someone such as myself, as you say, this is ghastly. I feel like I am on a deserted island. I do not approve of President Biden. I do not approve of former President Donald Trump. There are third-party options, but historically, they don't do well.
Good luck to you, Amy, finding a winner from that law. Thank you.
It's going to be a fascinating 6 weeks. He's going to be in court every day for that. And all the previous court appearances, it's been, a few hours here or there. So will this cut through? Will this first criminal
is Amy still there? No.
Be the one? Who knows? But all eyes will be on what happens there.
What I was going to ask Amy is, how come he's got such a God Squad following? How come the God Squad aren't turned off by this?
I don't understand that. I really don't. And that's been an ongoing question of mine. I mean, it started when it was grabbing women by the genitalia. How did the church God-fearing crowd not find that offensive? Absolutely mystifies me. But it just escalates there with all of the sort of porn star salaciousness.